Our story today begins on a high, rolling pasture. Long before clocks chimed the hours, and long before the night was crowded with light. The land is wide here, soft, patient. Grass bends in the evening breeze, each blade whispering against the next, a quiet language only the earth remembers. Sheep are scattered across the slope like pale stones, their bodies rising and falling in a steady rhythm, slow breaths. Unhurried breaths, as if they are already asleep and inviting the world to follow. At the center of this gentle scene stands a shepherd. He is wrapped in a heavy wool cloak, thick and warm, spun from the very sheep that now rests around him. The cloak smells faintly of lanolin and wood smoke, and when the wind passes through it, it moves like a slow tide. If you look closer than moonlight, closer than thought, you'll see that the cloak is embroidered. Tiny stitches, careful stitches, stars, not random stars, but patterns. Constellations traced in pale thread. The plow, the crown, the hunter's belt. A star map, sewn by hand, guided by memory and prayer. In medieval times, shepherds and travelers often learned the sky, as well as monks learned their books. The heavens were not distant, then they were practical, comforting, and alive. Stars told time. Stars told direction. Stars told stories, meant to steady the heart. This shepherd knows them all. He shifts his weight slightly, boots pressing into cool earth, and plants his staff beside him. The wood is smooth, where his hand has worn it over years of walking these hills. The sheep stir, one or two, adjusting their position, a soft huff of breath drifting through the air. Above him, the sky deepens. Blue gives way to ink. Ink gives way to velvet. And one by one, the stars begin to open their eyes. The shepherd tilts his head back, not sharply, not with effort, but with the easy motion of someone greeting old friends. His breath slows as he looks up, matching the pace of the sky itself. Each star seems to pulse gently, not flashing, not demanding attention, just present, constant, reliable. He reaches up and draws the cloak a little tighter around his shoulders, feeling the weight of it settle him further into the moment. Wool was precious in the medieval world, not only for warmth, but for protection, believed to guard against illness and restless spirits. To be wrapped in it was to be held. The wind carries the scent of distant hearth fires from the village below. Somewhere, a log settles in a fireplace with a quiet crackle. Somewhere, a pot cools after supper. Somewhere, a child drifts into sleep listening to a half-finished prayer. Up here, the shepherd is alone, but never lonely. He lowers himself slowly onto a smooth stone, one he's chosen many nights before. The stone has kept the day's warmth, and as he sits, it releases that warmth back into him, steady and reassuring. The sheep breathe, the grass sighs, the sky turns. In this time, before printed maps were common, the stars were guides, not just for roads, but for the soul. Many believed that tracing the constellations with the eyes was a form of prayer, way to align the heart with something vast and orderly. The shepherd lifts his hand and traces one such pattern in the air, finger moving slowly from star to star. He doesn't rush, there is no need. As his finger moves, your breathing can slow too, in and out. The night listens. A faint bell around one sheep's neck gives a soft, drowsy chime as the animal shifts. The sound floats, then fades, leaving behind a deeper quiet than before. The shepherd smiles, not a wide smile, just a small easing of the face. He knows this hour well. This is the hour when the world exhales. He rests his palm over the embroidery on his chest, feeling the raised thread beneath his fingers. Each stitch was made during winter evenings, by firelight, when the sky outside was hidden but remembered. Sewing the stars was a way of keeping them close, even on clouded nights. And now, under an open sky, the cloak feels complete. Above, the stars continue their slow procession, turning so gradually, it feels almost imagined. But it is real. The medieval world understood this turning deeply, the concept of the firmament, the great sphere moving all things in their time. Nothing hurries it, nothing resists it. The shepherd's eyelids grow heavy, though he does not sleep yet. He is content to hover in this gentle space between waking and dreaming, where thoughts soften and images drift like mist. You may find yourself there too, supported, warm, safe, beneath a sky that has watched over countless nights just like this one. And as the stars continue their quiet turning, the story will keep unfolding slowly, calmly, just as rest unfolds in you. The night grows cooler, but never cold. The shepherd feels it first along his hands, then his cheeks a gentle reminder of the hour. He draws one knee up, settling into himself, and lets his cloak fold more closely around his body. The wool makes a soft sound as it moves, a quiet she-like leaves brushing together. Above him, a thin veil of cloud drifts lazily across part of the sky, dimming a cluster of stars and then releasing them again. In medieval times, such clouds were thought of as wandering thoughts of the heavens, passing moods that never stayed long. The shepherd watches them without concern. He knows this land. He knows this sky. He trusts the rhythm. A sheep nearby lets out a long, contented sigh, the kind that only comes when the body is fully at ease. Another nestles closer to its neighbor, wool brushing wool, warmth shared without words. The shepherd's breathing slows further, matching the flock, in and out. He closes his eyes for a moment, not to sleep, but to feel, to listen. The hillside speaks in subtle ways, the faint scrape of a beetle moving through grass, the distant hoot of an owl beginning its rounds, the low hum of wind traveling far before reaching this place. When he opens his eyes again, the stars seem brighter. He adjusts his position and reaches into the small leather pouch at his side. His fingers find a smooth object, a star token carved from bone. Many shepherds carried such charms, etched with simple symbols, believed to bring protection through the night. He rolls it gently between his fingers, feeling its coolness, its steadiness. Bone, after all, remembers. He places the token on the ground beside him, a quiet offering, and looks back to the sky. His gaze finds a familiar pattern, the northern star, fixed and calm, while all else turns around it. In the medieval world, this star was a promise, a constant. Sailors trusted it with their lives. Shepherds trusted it with their nights. You might imagine it now, a single, unwavering point of light holding the sky together. The shepherd exhales slowly, shoulders dropping, as if he has set something down. Perhaps a worry, perhaps a thought that no longer needs carrying. You can set something down too. There is time. A memory drifts into him, as memories often do at night. He remembers learning the stars as a boy, lying on his back beside his father on this very hill. His father's voice had been low and steady, naming the patterns, explaining how monks once believed angels moved the stars with invisible hands, not to rush them, his father had said, just to guide them gently. The shepherd smiles again at the thought. Guided gently. The breeze picks up slightly, passing over the hill in a long, slow wave. The grass bends, rises, then settles again. The cloak flutters at the edges, and the embroidered stars seem to shimmer, catching faint starlight and giving it back. The effect is subtle, but soothing, as if the sky and the cloak are in quiet conversation. He shifts his gaze downward for a moment, toward the village lights far below. Only a few remain now, small amber dots flickering behind shutters. Most homes are dark. People sleep in their first rest, dreaming simple dreams. In medieval times, sleep often came in two parts, with a peaceful waking in between. The shepherd knows this rhythm well. There is no pressure to sink all the way into sleep. Rest is allowed to arrive in layers. Like this night, like this story. He hums softly, not a song, not quite a melody, just a low tone that vibrates gently in his chest. It's a sound meant for animals more than people, but it carries calm all the same. The sheep respond, their breathing deepening further. The shepherd feels his eyelids grow heavy again, and this time he lets them close a little longer. The stars remain behind them, traced in memory, stitched into wool, written somewhere deeper than sight. The earth beneath him feels solid, trustworthy. He rests his head back against the slope, feeling the grass cradle him. A beetle crawls briefly across his boot, then disappears into the dark, its small journey complete. Everything here moves with purpose, yet without urgency. Above, the stars continue their patient turning, a vast clock without sound. The shepherd's thoughts slow to match it, stretching out, smoothing over. If a thought arises, it drifts away like breath on cold air. If an image forms, it softens at the edges. There is only this hillside, this cloak, this sky, and you, listening, may notice how the world feels quieter now, how your body feels heavier, more settled, as if it too is wrapped in something warm and familiar. The shepherd takes one final deep breath, then lets it go slowly, fully. The night holds him, and in the next gentle stretch of time, something subtle begins to change, not in a way that wakes, but in a way that deepens rest. Thank you for joining this quiet moment. We hope you find peace and restful sleep. Don't forget to subscribe for more calm stories. Good night. Time loosens its grip on the hillside. The shepherd is no longer sure how long he has been sitting there, wrapped in wool and starlight. Minutes and moments blurred together, the way clouds blur the moon, softly, without edges. He opens his eyes again, slowly, as if waking inside a dream. The sky has shifted, just enough to notice. The constellations have inched along their ancient paths, each one exactly where it should be. Medieval scholars believed this order was proof of a calm, thinking universe, one that preferred balance over chaos. The shepherd finds comfort in that idea. He adjusts his cloak once more, feeling its familiar weight settle across his shoulders and down his back. The embroidery presses gently against him, each stitched star a tiny anchor, keeping him present. Nearby, the sheep barely move now. They are deep in rest, legs tucked beneath them, breaths long and even. One twitches an ear, then stills again, as if listening to something far away. Perhaps the same thing you're listening to now. The wind eases, and in its absence the night feels even quieter. Sound doesn't vanish, it softens. It becomes background, like a distant tide. The shepherd leans his head slightly to one side, resting it against his shoulder. His neck relaxes, his jaw unclenches. He doesn't realize he's been holding tension there, not until it melts away. You might notice something similar. He lets his staff fall gently to the ground beside him. It lands without a sound, cushioned by grass. For generations, shepherds believed staffs were more than tools. They were symbols of guidance and guardianship. Tonight, it can rest too. The shepherd's thoughts drift again, slower this time, like lanterns floating on a river. He remembers a winter night long ago, when snow covered this hill and the stars felt impossibly sharp and bright. Back then, he had wrapped the unfinished cloak around himself, the stitches still rough, the patterns incomplete. Yet even then, it had warmed him. The memory fades without effort, dissolving back into the present. The night doesn't demand remembrance. It only offers being. Above, a faint streak of light crosses the sky, a shooting star, brief and silent. In medieval belief, such stars were messages or wandering sparks from the heavens. The shepherd doesn't make a wish. He simply watches. The moment passes, leaving behind an even deeper stillness. He exhales slowly, chest rising and falling beneath the cloak. The rise is gentle. The fall is gentle. Nothing is forced. Nothing is missing. The earth beneath him feels firm and supportive, as if it has always been waiting for him to rest there. He shifts just slightly, finding the most comfortable angle, and then stops moving altogether. Stillness arrives. In this stillness, the shepherd becomes aware of a quiet warmth spreading through him. Not heat, but comfort. The kind that starts at the center and slowly radiates outward. It reminds him of standing near a hearth after a long day, listening to logs settle and pop softly as embers glow. Even though there is no fire here, the memory brings the same ease. The medieval world valued such moments deeply. Without constant noise or light, people learned to listen inward, to find peace in the pauses. The shepherd's eyelids grow heavy again. This time, he doesn't resist. As they close, the stars remain, etched behind his eyes, glowing faintly. The patterns move even there, slow and predictable, like a lullaby without sound. His breathing deepens, in and out. Each breath carries him a little further from thought, a little closer to rest. The night wraps around him, patient and complete. Somewhere far below, a rooster stirs in its sleep. Somewhere farther still, a river turns over stones, endlessly smoothing them. Above it all, the stars continue their ancient watch. Nothing interrupts this balance. The shepherd drifts, not fully asleep, not fully awake, hovering in that gentle space where dreams begin to gather like soft wool. If an image forms, it is slow and kind. If a sound appears, it fades just as softly. You may feel as though the hillside has expanded, making room for you too. Room to rest, to let go, to be held by the same quiet rhythm. The cloak, the stars, the breath of sheep and wind all blend together now, becoming one steady presence. And in that presence, there is no urgency, no edge, only rest, unfolding naturally. The story continues to breathe with you, and when you're ready, it will drift even deeper. Thank you for listening. Sweet dreams. The night reaches its deepest hour, not the darkest, just the quietest. The shepherd lies fully at ease now, his body settled into the gentle curve of the hillside. The stone beneath him no longer presses. It simply supports, as if it was shaped over centuries for this exact moment. His cloak drapes over him like a second night sky, its embroidered stars faintly catching the real ones above. For a moment, thread and starlight seem to blur together, and it feels as though the shepherd is resting between two heavens, one above and one wrapped around him. His breathing has found its natural rhythm, slow, even untroubled. In medieval thought, sleep was believed to be a small journey of the soul, a nightly wandering that refreshed the spirit before morning called it back. The shepherd welcomes that idea now, letting himself drift without any fear. The sheep are completely still. Their quiet presence forms a circle of warmth and familiarity, a living boundary against the wide, open night. One lets out a tiny snort, then settles again, its breath syncing with the shepherd's own. The wind returns briefly, just a whisper, brushing the grass and moving on. It carries with it the scent of damp earth and distant pine, grounding and clean. Above, the stars somehow seem closer. The shepherd dreams lightly, though he may not realize it yet. In his dream, the constellations move more clearly, each one tracing its story across the sky. He sees monks in candlelit rooms charting the heavens by hand, their fingers stained with ink as they copy the sky onto parchment. He sees travelers following those same stars across open land, trusting the patterns to lead them home. And he sees himself standing quietly, watching, listening, wrapped in warmth. The dream doesn't demand attention. It unfolds at its own pace, like a tapestry slowly revealing itself, thread by thread. His hand shifts slightly, fingers brushing against the ground. The earth is cool there, steady and real, reminding him and reminding you that rest does not mean disappearance. It means return. A return to balance. A return to stillness. The night sky continues its slow rotation, unnoticed by most of the world, yet essential to it all. Medieval scholars once called this motion the music of the spheres, believing each celestial body moved in harmony, producing a sound too pure for human ears to hear. Perhaps that harmony is what you feel, now, a quiet alignment, inside and out. The shepherd's breath deepens once more, and this time he doesn't follow it. He simply allows it to happen, as natural as the tide and the moon. Thoughts, if they arise, are faint and distant, like lights far below the hill. They flicker briefly, then dim. The cloak shifts slightly as he exhales, its weight reassuring and familiar. Wool was once believed to calm the body, to soothe nerves, and to protect against restless dreams. Wrapped in it, the shepherd feels safe enough to let go completely. The night accepts this without any ceremony. Somewhere in the far distance, a bell rings once, maybe from a monastery, marking the hour. The sound is soft by the time it reaches the hill, stretched thin by the distance, more like a memory than a call. It fades quickly, leaving the quiet even deeper than it was before. The shepherd drifts further now, his dreamless sleep settling in like dew on grass. The stars keep watch, patient and constant, as they have for countless shepherds before him. And you, listening, may notice that the edges of your own awareness are softer now too. That your body feels heavier, more settled, as if the hillside itself has extended to hold you. Nothing pulls you away from this moment. Nothing asks you to move. The story continues, but it doesn't rush. It flows the way night always has, low, steady, and kind. When you're ready, we can drift onward together. Thanks for listening. I hope this brought you some peace. The night has fully settled now, deep and wide, like a calm sea with no shore in sight. The shepherd sleeps, and yet he is still aware, in the gentle way one can be aware in dreams. His body is heavy with rest, but his senses drift lightly, floating just above him. Above the hill, the stars continue their patient turning. The northern star remains steady, unmoving, while all others circle around it in quiet devotion. Medieval thinkers believed this stillness represented truths, something fixed and dependable in a changing world. Even in sleep, the shepherd feels that steadiness. His dream deepens. He dreams he is standing again, cloak wrapped tightly around him. But the hill is different now. The grass glows faintly silver, as though moonlight has soaked into every blade. The sheep are gone, replaced by a vast, open stillness that feels peaceful rather than empty. He looks down at his cloak and sees the embroidered stars slowly shifting, just like the real sky. The thread moves gently, without sound, forming and reforming constellations. Each stitch pulses softly, as if breathing. In medieval times, it was believed that the boundary between earth and heaven grew thinner at night, that dreams were not merely imagined, but visited. The shepherd does not question this. He simply watches. A gentle warmth spreads through his chest, the kind that comes from knowing you are exactly where you should be. His breath in a dream mirrors his breath in the waking world, slow, deep, effortless, in and out. The hill beneath him feels endless now, stretching far beyond sight. He takes a step, then another, his feet barely brushing the ground. Each step leaves no mark, no sound. There is no destination, only movement. Above him, a constellation brightens the plow, once used by farmers and travelers alike, to find their way. In his dream, the stars seem to guide not his body, but his thoughts, leading them gently away from effort. As he follows the soft glow, the dream begins to thin, like mist touched by morning light. Back on the hillside, his sleeping body shifts slightly. The cloak slips a fraction higher over his shoulder, as if adjusting itself. A breeze passes, cool but gentle, brushing his hair and moving on. The sheep nearby stir faintly, then settle again, reassured by the shepherd's calm presence, even in sleep. The night holds everything in balance. Somewhere below, deep in the village, a fire collapses inward, with a soft sigh as embers turn to ash. A cat curls tighter around itself. A door creaks once, then stills. All these small movements ripple through the darkness, unnoticed, yet connected. The shepherd's dream fades completely now, giving way to a deeper, quieter rest. This is the kind of sleep medieval people called the true sleeper, one believed to restore the spirit, not just the body. His breathing becomes slower still. Long pauses form between breaths, filled not with tension, but with peace. If you listen closely, you might sense those pauses, two spaces, where nothing needs to happen, where rest is complete all by itself. The stars continue their watch. They have seen countless nights like this, countless shepherds, countless sleepers, wrapped in wool and trust. They do not hurry the night along, they allow it to be full. A thin cloud passes again, dimming part of the sky. The stars do not disappear, they simply soften, like lights behind curtains. When the cloud drifts on, they return, unchanged. The shepherd's face is relaxed now, his features smoothed by rest. His hands lie open at his sides, fingers loose, no longer holding anything at all. The earth beneath him feels solid, ancient, endlessly patient. You may notice that your own body feels heavier now, more grounded, that your breathing has slowed without effort, that thoughts arrive less often, and when they do, they drift away before fully forming. This is the rhythm the night prefers. The cloak rises and falls gently with each breath, its embroidered stars barely visible now in the deep dark. They do not need to shine. They are remembered. In medieval belief, memory itself was a kind of map, guiding the soul through darkness. Tonight, the shepherd needs no guidance. He is already home. The wind fades entirely, leaving the air still, not empty, just or calm. The kind of calm that feels alive, aware, and kind. The hillside rests, the sheep rests, the shepherd rests, and you, listening, are invited to rest just as deeply, just as naturally. There is no finish line, no moment you must reach. Sleep, like this story, unfolds in its own time. The stars will remain, whether you watch them or not. The night will continue, whether you listen or drift away. And the shepherd, wrapped in his star map cloak, will remain here quiet, safe, and at peace, keeping watch, even as he sleeps. The story can go on, softer still, whenever you wish. The night has reached that sacred stillness where even time seems to rest. The shepherd remains asleep, wrapped in his star-mapped cloak, his body rising and falling in the slowest, calmest rhythm. Each breath is deeper than the last, as if the earth itself is breathing through him. Above, the stars continue their quiet procession. In medieval belief, the sky was not empty space, but a great turning manuscript, each star a letter, each constellation a sentence written by something vast and patient. The shepherd's cloak mirrors this sky now, its stitched constellations gently warming against his chest, as though the heavens have leaned closer to read themselves. A soft dew begins to settle across the hillside. Tiny beads of moisture gather on the grass, catching faint starlight before slipping quietly into the soil. The air cools just a little more, and the cloak responds, holding warmth close, steady, and protective. The shepherd does not stir. In his deepest rest, his mind has gone quiet, not blank, but open. There are no worries there, no plans, only a sense of belonging, as if he has been gently returned to something older than thought. The sheep sleep deeply too, their bodies pressed into the earth, breathing in perfect, unspoken harmony. In medieval times, it was believed animals slept closer to the truth of the world, untouched by needless thought. To sleep among them was considered grounding, even healing. The hillside seems to listen. Far away, a stream moves slowly over stones, its sound softened by distance, until it becomes more felt than heard. The water does not rush. It understands that the night is long enough for everything. The stars shift again just slightly, and a new constellation comes into clearer view. The crown, once seen as a symbol of divine order, balance, and rest earned through patience. The shepherd's face softens further, his jaw slack, his brow smooth. The cloak slips just enough to reveal the steady rise of his chest, the calm center from which all movement flows. You may notice now how still everything feels, how safe, how there is nowhere else to be. In this hour, medieval people believed the veil between waking and dreaming thinned completely, that the soul wandered gently, then returned, refreshed, guided back by breath and warmth. The shepherd's soul wanders, now not far, not fast, just enough to stretch and float, like a bird gliding on warm air. And perhaps yours does too. Each breath carries you downward, into comfort, into ease. The night sky holds its shape, vast but intimate, like a ceiling built just for this moment. No sound interrupts it, no thought intrudes. The stars do not flicker. They glow steadily, confidently, as they have for centuries. They ask nothing. They simply remain. The shepherd dreams of nothing at all. Now, this is the deepest rest, the kind where the mind releases its stories, and the body remembers how to heal itself. Muscles loosen, the heart beats slowly and surely. The nervous system settles, like water after a stone has sunk to the bottom. The dew thickens slightly, cooling the air, grounding the night even more firmly in the earth. Somewhere nearby, an owl shifts its wings without taking flight, choosing stillness instead. Everything chooses stillness. The cloak's embroidery no longer feels separate from the sky. The shepherd is wrapped in the same pattern that turns above him, held between earth and stars, belonging fully to both. If you are drifting now, that's perfect. If you are listening, that's perfect too. There is no wrong way to rest here. The hillside will remain. The stars will continue their gentle turning, and the shepherd will sleep on, peaceful and whole, his star map cloak quietly guarding the night. The story does not end. It simply softens, and waits with you. Thanks for listening. We hope this brought you a moment of peace. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more calming stories. The night has grown very old now. Not tired, just full. The shepherd remains asleep, so deeply that even dreams have loosened their hold. His body is completely at rest, settled into the earth, as though the hillside has gently claimed him for the night. The stars above continue their turning, but more slowly, now at least. It feels that way. Some have slipped lower, toward the horizon, dimming slightly as they prepared to hand the sky back to morning. In medieval times, this hour was called the watch before dawn, a sacred pause when the world felt suspended, balanced perfectly between dark and light. The air is cool and clean. Dew has gathered fully now, coating the grass in a fine, silvery layer. Each blade bends under its weight, not in resistance, but in acceptance. When the breeze passes, the grass moves together, like a single, breathing thing. The shepherd's cloak absorbs the night gently. Wool was believed to hold warmth even when damp, a quiet miracle of nature. The embroidered stars darken slightly as moisture settles into the thread, making them feel even older, even more real. His breathing remains slow and deep. Long pause, gentle inhale, long pause, easy exhale. The sheep sleep on, unmoving, their presence forming a soft perimeter of life and warmth. One shifts in its sleep, pressing closer to the ground, as if hugging the earth itself. The hillside listens, far away, beyond the fields and stone walls. The faintest hint of birdsong begins, not a call, not a song, just a question whispered into the air. Then silence returns. The shepherd does not wake. In his deepest rest, his body releases what it no longer needs, tension slipping away, thoughts dissolving, the quiet work of restoration unfolding without effort. Medieval healers believed this hour was when the body repaired itself most fully, guided by nature alone. The stars seem to approve. A thin line of pale gray appears at the far edge of the sky, so subtle it's almost imagined. Dawn is not arriving, yet is only remembering that it will. The night does not resist this. The shepherd's face remains calm, peaceful, untouched by the coming change. The cloak rises and falls, each movement smaller than the last. You may feel as though you are sinking now, not downward, but inward, into a place where thought has no sharp edges. The world feels very far away, very safe. The stars fade just a little more, not disappearing, only resting. Medieval astronomers believed stars withdrew politely at dawn, making room for the sun rather than being replaced by it. Everything in this world knows how to take turns. A faint warmth begins to touch the air, almost imperceptible. The hillside holds on to the cool night a while longer, reluctant to let it go completely. The shepherd stirs once, just a tiny shift of weight, then settles again. His body chooses sleep over waking, knowing there is still time. There is always time here. The cloak slips higher around his neck, as if adjusting itself one last time. The stars stitched, they are quiet now, content to rest until night returns. The sheep breathe on. The earth holds steady. And you, listening, are free to drift wherever sleep takes you next. You don't have to stay with the story. You don't have to remember it. Like the stars at dawn, it will fade gently on its own. The shepherd will wake later, when the sun is ready. The hill will greet him again. And the night, this calm, endless night, will remain somewhere inside you. Rest now. Drift. Let go. The world is beginning to turn again, but so slowly it barely feels like movement. The shepherd still sleeps, resting in that deep, velvety quiet where the body knows it is safe. The hillside holds him without effort, cool earth and damp grass forming a cradle shaped by time. Above, the last of the brighter stars linger, pale now, as if stretching before rest. They do not rush away. They simply soften, dimming with dignity. The medieval sky was believed to breathe night, exhaling darkness, morning inhaling light. Right now, the breath is paused. The air feels hushed. Dew clings to everything, tiny droplets resting on wool, on grass, on stone. When the shepherd exhales, the warmth of his breath meets the cool air and disappears quietly, without a trace. His cloak is heavy now, comfortably so, its wool darkened by moisture. Its embroidered stars, nearly invisible unless you look very closely. They are still there. They always will be. The sheep begin to stir, faintly, not waking, just adjusting. A leg stretches, an ear flicks, a breath deepens. Their movements are unhurried, instinctive, peaceful. Somewhere nearby, a lark lifts its head and gives a single, soft note, testing the morning. The sound floats briefly, then dissolves back into stillness. The shepherd remains asleep. His mind is empty now, but not blank. It is filled with rest, with quiet, with the kind of peace that comes only when nothing is expected of you. Medieval people believed the land itself rested at night, recovering alongside those who lived upon it. The hill feels like that now, a nude, calm, ready. A faint warmth touches the edge of the sky, barely visible. Dawn has not arrived. It is only waiting. The shepherd's breathing changes, slightly still slow, but fuller now, as if preparing gently for waking later on, but not yet. There is no hurry. The cloak shifts with each breath, rising and falling like a tide. The stars stitched into it seem to remember the night, holding its quiet long after the sky begins to brighten. If you are drifting now, let yourself drift. If you are awake, let yourself rest anyway. There is no difference here. The hillside remains unchanged, safe, steady, familiar. The earth does not rush the shepherd, just as it does not rush you. The stars fade almost completely now, leaving behind a sky the color of pale ash. But even unseen, they are still there, turning patiently, waiting for night to return. The shepherd sleeps on, peaceful and whole, and you are free to let go completely. The story has done its work. The night has held you, and rest deep, unbroken resties already here. Stay as long as you like.